Hey guys, we're the Hard Time Show. I'm in podcast, string up a bear class of man, and today we have a very special guest, Joe from Despop, and like 3, 4 other channels, other side gigs, everything else. So, what do you do, man? Who are you?
I'm I guess I'm like head can I say the R word on this show? Are we allowed to say that?
Please. Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm like head retard at Desktop. That's what I introduce myself as. So yeah, that's my main gig. That's what I'm focusing on. So we post about firearms content is the easiest way to say it, or firearms
Okay.
related content. We've kind of moved into making bombs recently. So
Nice. That's always
yeah,
good. Yeah.
bit of a content. But our state banned guns, and we were like, well, if you ban guns, I guess we'll just teach people how to make bombs. That's fine. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Make your bed, but this can be so much worse.
exactly. I mean, it's legal, so I'm gonna have to do it, I guess.
Yeah, that malicious compliance.
So,
All right. Well,
complying.
yeah, it's whatever. Air quotes. No, so Despop. So, talk to us about that. What do you guys do? What's the goal? What are you trying to do? How long have you been doing this? Because you told us in the pre-show that you've been to a lot of just, general production on pretty high, ticket gigs, pretty highbrow stuff. So like what do you do just, in your time, and then, what does the channel mean for you?
I'm a jack of all trades, master of none is kind of the proper term, I guess. Oftentimes better than the master of
Right.
one. It's like the slogan, but
Right.
I would consider myself to be a marketing director is what it would be. So freelance marketing director is like the technical term that I have to take. But truth be told, I'm just a videographer who ended up doing what was necessary to succeed. I knew I wanted
Okay.
to do video my whole life. I've been doing video since I was about 15. And to keep my sob story extremely brief, I got hit by a car when I was very young still. I guess I'm
Oh
still
crap.
really young. Caused some kidney failure issues, and I went, man, I really would rather die doing what I want to do than live and work at Costco until I die. So I quit. I went and quit Costco, and I was like, we're gonna make this work. And I've been doing videography for a living, for full time. I guess you can call it a living. Almost homeless most of the time for the last 10 years. So
10
that's it, and
years.
arguably
Goodness.
successfully in the last 2 years, but and I guess you could say successfully in the last 2 years. Very successfully is yet to be determined. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's up to your standard, right? But look at you. That's awesome. So videography. So what gave you the idea for Despot? Is it just like you weren't seeing the content that you wanted, or you had, this big idea, or how did that come to be?
pros is I guess the easy way to say it. I grew up on guys like FPS Russia, and
Mm,
when FPS
yeah.
Russia got taken out, I was watching Grand Thumb, and
Yeah.
we're from Washington. He used to come into our shop. Him and his guys would come into our shop. I still have Charlie's number in my phone because he had a can in
Really?
my gun shop that I was working at. And like, man, I wish we could see this kind of content again. You know, the kind of content
Mm,
where it's like you don't care what the repercussions are. There is no worry about the politics behind it. I'm gonna do what I think is funny and entertaining, and I'm gonna teach a little bit of something along the way. And I like to show people that guns are fun. And it's scary when you say guns are fun and people cringe because they are. Like you don't have 30 guns because they're not fun. You have 30
right.
guns because you like them and they're fun. And that's the truth that people are afraid to like. Yeah, they're dangerous. They're tools. Okay, yeah, like a drill is a tool. I don't have 40 drills. I got two drills, you know? So
Yeah.
it's the
Well,
same
it's
kind of
like
concept there.
it's not the specs, it's not the numbers, because you have guys who will like, oh, it's, this barrel length at this twist at this pressure. It's not about the specs, it's about how it makes you feel. Like you said, it's, you don't
Exactly.
have three guns just because of, different specs. It makes you feel a certain way, and it's freaking cool and it's fun.
They're fun, and it's your right,
Yeah.
and it's important for everyone to know how to use them. And
Mhm.
so we lean into that aspect, but obviously, the way that I dress or the way that I look lends myself to actually criticism from the conservative side. You'll see a lot of comments about just the way that I dress, mostly just calling me gay, which is a little weird, or saying that they're my sister's pants, which is also a little weird because I wish that if my sister has legs as skinny as mine, that's a problem. Okay, uh, look, it's a problem. It's a little weird that people are saying that. I'm like, you haven't even seen my sister in her pants, but man, if she put these on, they'd be a lot tighter. And it's really just like the content that we make is end goal here, like people who are generally speaking not interested in firearms or not engaged with firearms to watch it and go, why was that entertaining? Why did I like that? Suddenly watching, well, oh man, it has been 2 hours and now I'm thinking I need to go buy a gun. That's kind of my goal here. So I guess like we're a teaser trailer for people to kind of wet their palate on firearms before they meet Lucas from T Rex Arms. We're kind of the side where it's like, hey, these are fun. You can have fun with them. It's important to train. Yes, it's important to learn about them. But at the end of the day, if you understand how things work, they're a lot less scary. And so we like to give people an idea of like how they work and show them that they're a lot less scary. So hence the bomb making video that I made where I showed people, look, these ingredients on their own, not dangerous. You could carry them in your car. You can carry them in your backpack. You can order them on Amazon and have it shipped to your door. When you mix them, then yeah, they're a little bit dangerous. Okay, that's a little bit scary, a little bit spooky.
But that's how
But
you're
even
an
then,
adult. You'll be
yeah,
fine,
you're
right?
a grown up. Be an adult. That's exactly right. If you want to make a bomb on your own private property and detonate it on the same day without transporting it, it's your legal right to do that. You can do it according to DHS. So,
And I'm tired of pretending that it's
Oh
not.
my god.
and it's fun, and you can't pretend that it's not fun.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and something that we
Man,
said
I'm
in the pre-show, it's intentional entertainment. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. I
we're
love
very
that. I love what you guys
intentional
are
about
doing.
it. We seem hinged. Most of the words that we say are calculated. I would say that a solid 20% of them, which for men, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot of calculated words there for me to come up with 20% of them being calculated. But all the actions are calculated. All of the like, especially now as we move into explosives and things that go boom. All those mixtures, everything that I'm doing, it needs to be extremely calculated and extremely precise. And so yeah, we have fun with it. We show people how to have fun with it, but we're also like extremely safe. And I think I say like 30 times in every video, don't try this at home. And I actually mean it. Don't try it at home. Try it in your backyard because in your house, it's really dangerous if it explodes. It could break your house.
It's no
So
critical thinking.
backyard
Yeah.
problem. That's the
yeah.
thing.
It's just it's a more complicated stump fest
Yeah,
when you think about
exactly.
it. Yeah. Six, you're awful quiet back there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still extremely tired. I have a 5-week-old. So I'm here. I'm here, but I'm not here.
Wow, it seems
Ugh.
longer than 5 weeks when I don't have to care for the infant. Weird.
You're not wrong. Oh god.
So firearms, explosives. How do you guys come up with your with your arcs? You're in your explosive arc right now. So like how do you guys come up with this stuff? Is it just like what feels good at the time, or are you like, no, we covered this well enough, it's time to start branching off? Like what's the creative flow look like?
That's actually interesting because we're still developing that is like the easy way to say it. There's a lot of things that I want to do. And the thing that's unique about building a YouTube channel is you build this audience that expects a certain something from you. And the only way to keep that audience engaged or to grow it is to force them to grow with us, is kind of my thought. I things are kind of beat into the ground, to be honest. And we when we got into this, we were like, oh man, gun reviews are gonna be great. Companies are gonna send us guns. And then Washington State went banned like all firearms. So companies are no longer sending us guns. Even if we have an FFL that'll take the transfer, they won't even ship it to our state because companies are actually not that based if you think about it, which is kind of lame.
Disgusting.
And
Yeah.
the channel's not successful enough for me to move myself and two other men, and one of them has a girlfriend. The other one obviously doesn't have. I'm surprised any of us do, to be honest. But to another state, like we can't move to a free state. I don't have that kind of disposable income, so it's kind of been just this tattering of how are we going to work around the state us that we are super lame and that they hate us, but still make content that's engaging. And yeah, firearms reviews are kind of worn out. Like every single firearms review, especially now, is you're going to see a bunch of dudes say that guns are good, or they're going to review guns that are unattainable, very expensive, and it's because companies now, if you say a gun's bad, they won't send you anymore. And
Right.
if you go through we did reviews, guns didn't work for us, and we were honest. We were like, anyway, these suck. They didn't work for me, and I always bought the guns. So I spent like $8,000 at one point on two sugar weasels or two honey badgers. Which are like those are premium ARs. Anyway, they didn't work, and it
Ooh,
was my third time buying a Q gun, and the first one exploded. So I didn't have that. I wasn't making YouTube at the time when it exploded, but I figured, oh yeah,
Yes.
I'll give him another shot. And then we worked at a gun shop, so we saw a lot of guns come through, and we had a pretty good idea of what would break and what wouldn't break. And we'd see all these reviews come out super positive, and we're like, "There's no way." I see so many of these broken, and then we'll go and buy the gun, and sure enough, like ours are broken. So we
Wow.
realized that that's not helpful for our channel growth. Doing reviews of guns and then having bad things to say about them doesn't get your channel any more reach. It gets no companies wanting to work with us, and our audience, the ones that are like with us, they're like, "This is valuable information. I know not to buy that now." Like that's awesome.
Right.
The ones that aren't with us or bought that gun, um, people do this thing, and I don't know if there's a real term for it, but I call it purchase cope, and we all do it. I do it. I've got a camera that I spend a ton of money on. I want to think it's the best thing ever, but it's
Right.
called purchase cope, and
Mhm.
it's where I say that something you spent a lot of your money on is bad, and you haven't really had any problems with it, so you're going to kill me because I said that it's bad. You just absolutely hate my guts because I said that that product is bad. It's like dudes with their Chevy cars when they like Chevy, they're like, Chevy is the best thing that I've ever had in my entire life. It's the same concept with guns. You get that same attitude from people, and to be honest, I
Yeah.
just shoot things, and if they break, I go, well, dang, that broke. Like I don't know. That's what I'm about. I'm gonna shoot it until
I
it
don't know
breaks, and I
how
go, that broke.
I don't know how to tell
it
you guys this,
seems
but
simple enough.
objectively, it broke. Like,
It's
Yeah.
bad. And then same thing with like Turkish shotguns. We've had really good luck with this. Like we just did a video on $150 shotguns, and they're flawless. Like no light strikes, no issues, no extraction problems. And people were like, "You guys are shills for this Turkish company." Anyway, you can watch that video. SBS Imports actually just emailed me last week and made me pay them $1,200. So no, we are not shills. We actually paid $1,200 to do that video. So which is like
Oh my
shotguns,
god.
by the way. So
that
how awesome
hurts.
is that?
Like,
Yeah, I mean the videos cost
Are
money,
you
and we don't make that. We made $30 off the video. That's kind of like this is an
Oh,
investment.
oh, so this is just a passion project. Yeah.
So
dude.
my main work funds the channel, and my goal, like I said, if it costs me everything to keep making these videos, I'm going to keep making these videos because I think that if I can get one person, and we get this every once in a while, one person that comments, "Hey, I didn't want to buy guns. I watched your videos, and now I'm like, man, I got to get firearms." That to me is worth every cent. So
Awesome.
maybe I spent 100 and some $1,000 on posts last year, and maybe we only brought like 5, 6 people into the firearms industry because of it. But that's, in my opinion, well worth the money well spent. I would, if someone
Yeah.
wanted to get into the firearms industry, I would buy them a firearm. I would take them to training. That is just like how firmly I believe in this, and the fact that it's being kind of gatekept, or I want to say like the guys who are leading it. You guys are both bearded gentlemen, so I don't want to harass the bearded gentleman thing, but the
Do what
guys
you
in
gotta
charge,
do.
the guys on top, they're big bearded gentlemen who scare people, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's not very welcoming. They come across as abrasive because a lot of them are. Um, and yeah, my goal is to show people that you don't have to be a bearded guy in a flannel shirt to like guns. It's actually everyone's right, and everyone should be interested in either owning one or supporting someone who owns one and then training with it. You should be confident. So that's kind of like the goal for the channel. And yeah, we don't make money off of it yet. The hope would be that it would make money because it does content, and eventually it'd be nice if it didn't. But what it is, I'm going to keep making them. So
That's awesome, man. I mean, and what you're not getting paid into it, I mean, you're building a legacy. However many people that you bring into the fold into this culture, and get them excited, that has so many repercussions just in their families and their communities. I mean, that's huge. That's
a lot of
amazing.
yeah, political. And the one thing I've learned with political work is that the hardest way to change someone's opinion is to disagree with them. It really is. Just like if we want to change my opinion on tacos, and I say I don't like tacos, you telling me, oh, dude, tacos are so good. You've got to like tacos. Taco. What do you mean you don't? No. The easiest way to change someone's opinion is to just get them into something else. So if I want you to, say, wow, taxation is theft, and the government has been extorting its citizens for years, I'm not going to convince you of that. Like, I'm not going to take you from A to B. But what I'm going to do is take you to the gun range and show you how much fun firearms are, and then show you all the legislation that the state provides saying that you're a monster for having a good time. And I'll let you do the rest of the work. And you know what? It works really well. I think that that is the most effective way to change someone's opinion. I say it's like, it's not about teaching the dude to paint his car red. It's about showing him how cool red looks on his walls in the house. Like, oh, wow, oh man, I really like the way that that color looks. And then he does it to something else. So you're taking a thought process and you're teaching them to apply rationality to something that they're maybe less stringent on, and you're not pushing it. And it's their own choice. And then all of a sudden, it's interesting. It's like becoming a Christian. You're becoming a conservative, the Bible. And it's just like the Bible is the gun for you. And then it all of a sudden ekes its way into every single section of your political ideology. That's just kind of what we've learned from our experience. So, yeah, legacy is the easy way to say it. I say converting the Zoomers. And I think that that's true. So
You're just trying to be a gateway drug.
I am the gateway drug of 2A.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, same.
Approved.
Man, like,
Oh.
isn't that the hard part though? Especially when you we're trying to convert somebody. Just not the easy part is actually getting them into the activity, like having them shoot the guns. But I felt like, at least in my experience, it's if you want to change their mind, showing them facts, showing them legislation that's going on, isn't that the hard part? Getting them to wrap their minds around, hey, maybe my side's not doing this the right way. I can say that because I'm a libertarian, so I see the bad in both sides. I was once conservative until I saw a lot of the crap that was going down, and I just said, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So I still support a bunch of conservative legislation, but I can still, pick and choose one or two things from the other side. But at the same time, it's just like, y'all are just doing the same crap.
Picking a hard line is the biggest flaw in anyone's character, and I think that hard lines are
Mhm.
hard lines, and I like essential things. Yes, hard line. Non-essential things you should never be one way on. So, yeah, I consider myself a conservative, but a lot of people would consider me a liberal on some areas, and that's
Mhm.
unfortunately that's just how it is. But I don't. It doesn't bother me one way or another because everything I do is extremely based, and if someone disagrees with me, they're welcome to disagree with me. That's awesome. I actually prefer it. Makes me feel like I'm more correct when people are wrong. So,
I mean, it's their right to be wrong.
be wrong. It makes
Yeah.
It's
me
a
feel
weird
better,
choice,
actually.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy how I only ever argue with wrong people, and recently I
Yeah,
found myself not even arguing with wrong people. I just am like, interesting that you would think that way. Have a good day. Like,
that's
I
such
don't
an
think it's
odd
going to change
thought.
their opinion. Yeah, that is a
It's like,
great,
I
really.
just want to know how you got there. Like,
The other thing that I think works really well, instead of arguing with people or disagreeing with them, just have them expound upon their thoughts because, especially in Washington, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but like fentanyl is totally legal in the streets. Like you will not get
yep,
arrested for that. But if
whole deal.
what, do I have a magazine on the ground around here? I don't. I just have a bunch of bullets. Oh no, I do. Look at that. Anyway, this magazine is illegal, and it's like I'm holding a magazine for all the listeners. Anything over 10 rounds in the state of Washington is illegal.
Yep.
Um, anyway, I can take a needle full of fentanyl and put it in my arm in front of a police officer, and then stab a small child with it, and I will not go to jail, and that's a fact. In the state of Washington, totally fine, super legal. I will not go to jail for that. And if I do jail, I will get released the next day. So I just like to, when people tell me stuff, just kind of let them expound upon it. And man, the more liberal a state is, the easier it seems to be to convert people. The problem is that you have all the legislation that's already inactive. So while we're changing it on the baseline, it's what's happening is people are changing and leaving. But I'm okay with that because I'd rather they change, leave, and go somewhere and double down on those morals than have what we've had previously, which is move from California to Washington and change laws for the worse. So that's kind of the hope is that we can just let people expound upon their own incorrect ideals until they realize that they're incorrect ideals.
Awesome.
That's the hard part, though. Making them realize that they're wrong.
I just let them talk. Just let them talk. It'll happen. That reason, right? And the way that they don't is they pull out their phone and they go on TikTok, or they pull out their phone and they go on social media and watch the news, and they double down on their incorrect ideology because they're not thinking. They're putting themselves in an information loop. The trick is to force someone to talk about it with you. And I know it might be painful, because it definitely is really irritating to listen to my sister, who's an air quotes conservative, tell me that people should be forced to get the vaccine against their will because they should. And then I just let her expound upon that. I go, really? And why would you think that? And, oh, that's interesting. So I should definitely be able to like force people to have children because we need to have more kids in society. So you should be forced to give birth. She doesn't have any kids. So I just take her logic and apply it. And then she's like, no, that's incorrect. I'm like, why would that be wrong? Be incorrect. And then you just let her expound upon it. And then I just leave it at that. I go, oh, I understand. And what happens is my sister calls me like 5 months later and goes, wait a second. I just made the vaccine like children, and all of my arguments against it are valid. And I was like, yeah. Have a good day. Like,
Hey, you logicked me. How
in
dare
a
you?
second, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You
Interesting
caught me
how
monologuing.
flawed opinions are just really easy to change by listening and make it. You're forcing them to reason.
Mhm.
They've never had to do that before. It's really interesting. The superpower that the bad guys, I say bad guys, that's my favorite term to call them because I think it's way easier than giving them a side. The bad guys have this really cool superpower where no one wants to talk to each other. I don't want to argue with someone who's incorrect, but I also don't want them around me because they're wrong. But I disagree with. I think that the answer and the solution to it is screaming at them and go. No, it's letting them talk, letting them give you the reasoning behind it, and then like seeking to understand it, not seeking to agree with it, because usually there's nothing to agree with. But go ahead, seek to agree with it if you think there's validity there. But definitely making them talk and reason through it it's amazing how fast people change their opinion. So same thing I do with firearms. People come into the gun shop all the time that I used to work at, and they're like, "Oh, I'm scared to touch these," and I go, "Oh, well, they're really simple systems. Actually, take it apart. This is how it goes off. This is how it won't go off if you don't pull the trigger. So if I drop this right now and the striker falls, it won't go off. It actually can't go off. There's safeties in place for that. And then as they see how it works, they understand it, and then they feel really stupid. But I try not to make them feel stupid. They feel really dumb because they're like, man, I was really afraid that that inert object that was sitting on the counter would go off because it's what CNN told me it would do. Um, it's interesting how just instead of shutting them down, instead of not surrounding yourself with those people, kind of being the person willing to talk to them goes a long way. It changes a lot of opinions.
Oh, education.
You know,
I mean, it's huge. It's the antidote. I mean, same thing. I've taught new gun owners or people who are like averse or afraid of guns. We've taken them to the range and just did give them just a bare bones class. I've helped them shoot. Teach them 2-3 things, and like you said, it just completely changes, like, just fundamentally. It plants that seed and it's like, oh, no, I have authority over this object. Like this, it's in, like, like you said, it's inert. Like and I think the big sticking point for so many people is just that you have to take on that responsibility. Like that's why they don't like it. So, like, hey,
It's
you
scary.
have this
There's
responsibility, and
life.
that's good. Yeah, you're an adult, and this is kind of the deal, and just kind of handing that to them instead of coddling them, or completely, like shutting them out of it is a huge stepping stone.
You don't teach someone to drive by throwing them behind the wheel of a car and saying, go at it.
Mm.
So, same concept. I don't teach someone to shoot a gun by throwing it in their hands and telling them to go at it. I teach them where the gas pedal is and I teach them how to drive. So, kind of the
Yeah.
exact concept. A car is as deadly, if not more deadly, than a firearm. So, it's really interesting confidence people have getting behind a freaking death trap going 100 miles an hour. But I'm scared of pointing a gun at myself in my holster like that. Ooh, what if it goes off? Like it won't. Just don't pull the trigger. It won't go
Right.
off.
Well, oh gosh, man, the whole thing with NDs, it's like, don't just, do the 4 things that you're supposed to do, and it won't happen. I promise.
I mean,
like,
well,
Optional.
unless you have a 6-hour P320, then yeah, it might go off on its own.
One, absolutely. We did a video on that with an updated one. We threw it in the air a whole bunch of times on different hard surfaces because they have since fixed that. Or if you put it in the wrong holster, it could definitely go off. So there is that.
Serpa.
Put it in the wrong holster.
Oh my god. I actually didn't know about that one.
There's a video you can watch us throw it. If you want to watch us throw a gun like 30 or 40 times with a round in the chamber. It's a blank. We put a blank in the chamber. Okay. I told you we're safe. We post. We do stuff that's fun. But we are safe about it. We put a blank in the chamber, and then we were like in front of the water throwing the gun. So
I love it. I don't
Be a
remember
man,
what video I
put a live
watched.
round in there.
I don't remember what video I watched, but you were shooting, and you're like, yes, and you just threw it. And you're like, yeah, I forgot I put that in there. My bad.
whoopsie.
I just love that you guys have fun with it. It's awesome. But something that you said, just like acting as that that gateway drug, just and how acting in one way, or like refocusing, reshifting somebody's focus on one aspect, it has these these consequences, right? Everything's connected, and that's what we've learned since we started the podcast, a couple of years ago. We'll be going on our 3rd year in like a month, a little over a month. But we've learned that what our actual focus is, where our actual passion is with this, is taking a holistic approach. So not just focusing on the gun stuff or the medical stuff or the dad stuff, family stuff, but taking everything, because everything's connected, right? And just showing people that they're all like, this all ties together. And just like, yes, if you're a father, you need to protect your family, you need to have your home, you need to, like all this stuff. And that's been the most fun for me, is just trying to reach and grab and pull people from all these different communities. So like when we partnered with Blackbeard originally, it's like, oh man, we need to get all this, these outdoor, these recreational dudes out, and like bring them into the fold. And they had the same mentality, just like, oh man, we need to talk to these people, because they're the same people, they just don't talk to each other. So
yeah, it's like a big part of our community has been the gym bros, and it's hilarious because
nice.
we're all about getting physically fit. I think that my goal when I started working out was not to be strong; it was just not to get beat up. This would be the best way to say it. I was about 115 pounds, and I've been working out every day for the past 5 or 6 years, and I learned how to fight first, and learned how to get big second, and now it's just a part of my life. Working out to me is essential, because if I'm not physically fitter than the next guy, being that I am a man of small stature, I mean, I'm like 6 feet tall, but there's always, I'm obviously a thin framed individual, and I dress in a way that makes other men comment on how I dress as if I am somehow because I wear dress pants to the gun range. So it's really interesting, but my fight tendency tends to be higher, especially in Washington State. We either all know someone who's been shot or robbed, or are someone who's been shot or robbed. And I say that like not sarcastically. Like I personally went to high school with a girl who got beaten and robbed, I want to say 2 months ago. And then a guy who I was doing a contract with, while I was doing the contract with him, his buddy got shot in Seattle. Just on like, it's pretty standard. It's like just on like a regular night. And if you search Seattle gunshots, you'll probably get like 30 results from just a week. It's pretty insane. Like I said, there's basically no laws there, and the guys who are doing the gun crime, believe it or not, guess what? They don't have those guns legally, so they probably don't have 10-round mags in them.
Shocker.
So it's stuff like that, and yeah, the gym bros have really hopped on our content because they see us having fun. And they're like, wait a second, they're strong me, and they have a gun. Oh, I'm done. I lose. So the crossover, they're like,
okay.
Yeah, they hear this. The crossover is just like they're the same people. They don't even know it. It's the same thing. Like that, just that attitude of how could I provide and protect my family seems to be like what the gym goers tend to have, and it's the same exact thing that gets applied there. Like, oh man, a firearm is such an equalizer. Like, if I have a wife and she won't carry a gun, I'm gonna be really scared every time she goes out. It's unless I live in a free state, not maybe not as much when I live in like a free state, but in Washington, like yeah, women need to carry, especially women need to
Yeah.
carry. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
like
think it's
that's
just a
a
responsibility just as
equal.
an adult, especially you're talking about like family, dude, if mama bear's out with, her babies, like, yeah, dude, like you need that. That's your job. That's your responsibility. Hey guys, this is Six and Seven. We want to take a break from the episode to tell you a little bit about our sponsor, Blackbeard Fire Starters.
We've had Blackbeard Firestarter in our kit for years, ever since they came out with the Firestarter rope, which was seemingly powered by black magic. It was waterproof, it was windproof, it just worked.
And since then, nothing's changed. In fact, they've gotten even better. They add their fire plugs, they started selling waterproof matches, ferro rod, arc lighters. We can't say anything now, but they're continuing to grow. And I feel like they're only going to get better with age. And on top of sponsoring the show, keeping the lights on for us, they're also offering a 15% discount on anything in their store if you use code STRONGMEN.
Head on over to their website at blackbeardfire.com. You can check out their entire inventory and see what works best for you. And like we said, at checkout, use code STRONGMEN, one word, to get 15% off your order.
Thanks, guys. Now back to the episode.
The strength difference is there too. So that's the other thing the gym community really respects, and I think they've noticed. It's just like the sheer strength difference between like men and women. Women who are killing it in the gym, they're super fit, they're super strong, they're awesome, fantastic. They still, and they're, to their own admission, I'm not saying this in like a sexist way, they still lift just as much as like an average dude who just started lifting. It's just the strength difference there is insane. And when you see guys like, I have really skinny legs and I deadlift over 400 pounds. Like I'm gonna, if I get angry and I wanted to do harm, I could do harm. And just that strength difference alone is huge.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just how we're built. Just we're physiologically different. And it's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to be to be proud to find joy in. But different jobs, different purposes. But like I tell a story every time this sort of thing comes up. But we were in Afghanistan, we were leaving, we were going to be head back to base, and we had the bird down, everything. We were going up to the bird, and our medic, which she probably weighed 100 pounds soaking wet,
Yes.
was trying to walk through this this rice field. So she was trying a little bit of water, trying to go up to the bird, and she couldn't. She was stuck in place because of the rotor wash. And my buddy walked up behind her, he just grabbed her ruck and he just walked her up to the to the helicopter.
Yep.
And it's like, like you said, I don't mean anything ugly by it, but back in my prime when I was in full kit, I weighed over 300 pounds. And you're not going to pull me over, throw me over your shoulder, when you have that kind of weight difference. It's, like you said, it's just, we're just different. So, especially firearms being the great equalizer, especially, training. That's why everybody needs to have firearm. They need to get training, along with, your martial tasks, your medical, all this stuff.
Medical's huge.
But,
yeah, that's a huge thing for us.
Yeah, but it's just great that you are offering that in an entertaining way. You're what do we talk about? We talked about gatekeeping, but you're just like you're lowering the bar to entry. You're just like, no,
It's like you said.
I can still have fun with guns, all this stuff. It's just off we go.
We're telling people, hey, look, you don't have to eat the whole burger. You just have to take a bite. And that's like the easy way to think about it. You don't have to eat the whole burger. You just gotta take a bite, tell us you don't like it, and then they're like,
right.
And then they're radicalized immediately, and they have no idea how it happened. They don't know where all the money went in their bank account or why they suddenly have 40,000 rounds of ammunition. But that just tends to be how it goes. So we are the digestible first bite, and that's that's the goal of the channel. If I can get, I don't care how much hate, air quotes hate, our gets or how much people bash my appearance. If I can get 10 dudes that look like me into guns, training, and protecting their families, I think that that's a win. I
Oh,
don't
it's
care if my
huge.
channel does nothing
Absolutely.
else. And
Yeah.
if we can get, and like I said, 6 people in a year, even if that's our goal, and we definitely exceeded that. I mean, in the last month, we've gained 15,000 subs alone. So I think
Goodness.
the gateway is kind of
Jeez.
opening a little bit there. So yeah, I
That's
mean,
amazing.
when YouTube lets us, and bomb content YouTube, they're like, oh, we don't know how we feel about this.
Yeah.
Ironically,
That's borderline.
it's more acceptable than guns. So, and we'll teach people a few more explosive tactics. I'm checking what I'm allowed to teach before I teach it.
Fair.
Things that we're just not allowed to say online.
If you find something that you're not allowed to say that you want to, come back on, and we haven't
Oh,
been
dude,
banned yet.
absolutely.
I'm not sure where the
We're trying
line
to
is. We're
speed run
trying
it.
to find it. Yeah, we're trying to find the
Where the line
line.
is, I'm
We
finding the
haven't
line
found
on
it yet.
YouTube really fast. So
It's a lot
right
easier
now,
because we don't have a video, so they're not worried about it. But like I've read
Yeah.
from the improvised munitions handbook, like verbatim on the show, and no one said anything yet. So
interestingly enough, our last video, I like tell people to go buy the improvised munitions handbook off of sportsmansguide.com, and
yeah,
everything
absolutely.
but link it in the video because they don't allow links.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
went to Home Depot and built improvised weapons for $50. So we had
yes. Oh my
$50 and we had to
goodness.
build. I built a slamfire shotgun. It's definitely something
Yes.
else.
No way.
Yeah, we're pushing the line. Like I said, if there's a line on YouTube, we're definitely we're finding it. So that'll post on Sunday, and
I love you guys so
That's
much.
we're
amazing.
finding it. So
Oh, well, the beauty of it is too, even if you only get one person, that person's going to get one person, and so on and so forth. You basically have a pyramid scheme of just getting people into the gun community, and I'm here for it, and I freaking love that.
the end goal. So yeah, this one, man. I don't know how YouTube's gonna feel about it. I've gotten in some trouble from YouTube before, but I'm like, hey, I don't show them how to build it. I like with the bomb, I don't show people how to make it. I heavily
Right.
imply what you should or shouldn't do. I definitely tell them to go buy a 3/4 inch pipe and a 1 inch pipe and an end cap and a bolt and a nut and just tell them to put it in there and then drill it in there and it will definitely work. I definitely do that. Like I go that far, but I don't show them. Like I'm not, I don't show
But
them
it
me drilling a
requires
hole in the center. And
yeah, but it requires effort. And that's why we talked about this,
Oh
throughout the
man.
years. It's just like, man, maybe we're saying too much. And it's like, man, bad people aren't on this. It's too much effort. Like it's too much, head work to to make sense of all this.
I think that information is free, and as long as I'm not giving like a wiki how on building a slamfire shotgun, I think YouTube will be okay with it. Uh, they're press the heck out of it, but that's where our subscriber base has been surprisingly like understanding. They know that we're going to get suppressed, and so they
Yeah.
know to go for our videos every week, regardless of if YouTube shows it to them or not. And then you'll see pretty much every week someone will comment and be like, "Anyway, I'm not seeing your content, and I am subscribed and turned on the notifications, and it just
That's
hasn't
so
popped up.
frustrating.
Here I am finding it a week later." Yeah, the one video that did really well was the bomb video. Our shadow
Yeah.
ban got lifted, and I noticed it because I uploaded the video and it went green. Never go green. I uploaded it and it went green, and it went green instantly, and I was like, "Ooh, that's special." And
It's
then
like,
yeah,
hey.
it did like a 700,000 views.
Here we go.
Upload the next one, and it was like 10 of
Jesus.
10, 100
So
views in
sad.
2 days, and I was just like, gee, I wonder if this one's suppressed a little bit.
Gosh.
A little. Oh my
Oh, man.
god.
All about. So I'll be curious on how this one does. And like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because our subs are going to share it with people, and people who don't know anything about guns are going to watch it and be like, hold on, for 4264 or whatever my number is, I can go to Home Depot and make a shotgun, and we're banning, like, trying to ban guns, like, and people can just go and build one at the heart. And I'm like,
And
yeah,
just do this?
you can,
Yeah.
you could just go build.
Yep.
And sure, it might be only good for one shot. But if you're worried about one shot, there you go. Someone just built a
That's your
slamfire shotgun. They could shoot
like, that's your
once at
shot.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they shoot the security guard, take his gun, and then kill everyone. Like your one security guard that you have in your whole building, because that's smart. And he stands at the front of the building, by the way, where he's like the most exposed. Yeah, really
Well, it's
interesting
just
how we've set it up like that.
Mhm.
So
well, it's like the whole argument is so silly to me. I mean, just like up here, I've got Fry the Brain. I've got like all these different. I'm just like, man, just being a kid in the '90s, just like I can grab a slingshot and do terrible damage. Like,
Yes,
so
there's no the
dude.
whole
Yes.
argument doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you messaged me when we were trying to get you to hop in the Discord chat. It's like, oh, sorry, I was cleaning up a freaking 3D printer mess.
mess.
It's like
I'm printing a
3D
bomb right now.
printers exist. Thank
My
you.
God.
Thank you. 3D printers exist. You can buy them for a couple $100s and make whatever the hell you want. Gun laws don't matter anymore. Like,
Correct.
that's
Yeah,
it
can
kills me.
In the back, is that Ender 3? In Ender 3?
Yep.
It is. I have used it one time. I really need to
First
get back
file
on that.
drop is a and I'm working on it right now. I have the prototype. It was printing. Obviously, it didn't work that well. It's a door charge, so door breaching charge, and it will be a file drop that will go to the public. And if you want to know how to make a remote detonating door breaching charge and then print it at home, it's actually legal for you to do that. By the way, there is nothing illegal against it unless you prime it and then transport. So prime and transport. So if you're going to use it, you bring the ingredients and you bring the door breaching charge, you mix them, and then you use it on property. But and then drive some, you've just committed a felony. Ooh, that's scary. But bring all the ingredients with you, mix it there, then you're good. That's fine. DHS is like,
listen, it's only a felony if you get caught.
So anyway, I'm gonna make the file public. It'll be the first file of its kind, and as far as I know, else is just doing like Glock builds at guns. I don't know anyone who's making door breaching charges or like functional munitions. So it'll be a neat system.
I'm definitely gonna download it.
I don't have words. I'm just so happy.
Yeah, you can see it on
What a
IWA's page. Actually, IWA International shared my rendering of it, and
Really?
he's going to manufacture them, so people who don't have a printer can still buy the charges, and you can still buy everything you need. But he'll be selling it on his website. So
I love IWA.
otherwise, you can just print. He sues the ATF more than anyone. He is like always in a lawsuit against them, and I love the guy. He's like, if you the one company, and he'll attest to this, Al is my favorite guy. I always put in orders for his stuff, and every time without fail, I put in orders for his stuff. He calls me and he goes, Joe, why are you putting in order for this? You know you're special. You just text me what you want and I send it. And I'm like, Al, I want you to have the money. I know you're suing the ATF. Like, you need it. So
you need this. This is for you.
Like, you need this. Take my money, Al. I'm giving it to you.
It's amazing.
I love it. And who was it? Is it Orion Lab who's making the shoulder fired rockets, or is that somebody else? I forget. We linked it in one of our older episodes. But just I mean, 3D printers exist. I mean, Home Depot exists. I mean, we talked about this on the show. Like, for $50, I can make a thermite charge that'll do whatever the hell I want to, with no issue, with no effort.
You can make ANFO that can level a building almost. So you can buy instant cold packs off the shelf at Albertsons, and then instead of using the cold pack pouch, you can do diesel fuel in that, and then go buy tannerite. And if you detonate the tannerite and you put your little baggie of ANFO inside of the tannerite, you have something that's more powerful than TNT, and it's bought in the store and it's free. And if you don't have tannerite to ignite it, you can just put 10 grams of gunpowder in a match head or something remote and detonate it that way, and it'll still blow up. So it's like, and you just buy, cold packs. It's interesting because it's something that you pinch and it makes it cold. But if you mix diesel fuel with it, it's ANFO. They actually use it for mining, and it's super stable. So, it's cool stuff. It's cool information, and it's free. And like, I get people into it on that, and then they go, hold on, this isn't banned, but guns are? Like, hold on. You're telling me I can legally build ANFO, but I can't own Or like if I own a 22
I can't
long
have
rifle
more
in our
than
state
10.
with a threaded barrel, like that's not allowed, you know?
I
A
can't. I
22
can't own
rifle
Oh
with
more
a
than
threaded
10
God.
barrel.
10 rounds in my mag, but I can make an explosive just fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
it holds 11 rounds. Ooh,
so
that's bad. But
silly.
you want to make a
Ugh.
bomb, like that's totally legal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like illegal once you obviously once you turn it into a bomb, but it's like someone who's going to build a bomb for harm does not care about that. And the fact that they can buy all things legally without raising a red flag is great because we live in America and it should be that way. But
Yeah.
someone with a gun can stop them. So
Yes.
that's kind of the point. I think you
Right.
should be allowed to do this. You should, and you should definitely know about it because if you
Mhm.
ever encounter a device like that, there's like people who call the bomb squad, for instance, and then the bomb squad takes forever to approach it. So if this bomb's on a timer or it's a remote detonation, and you see it, there's a very good chance that you can deactivate pretty much any bomb. And to be honest, I'm going to take that risk um, before I call the bomb squad in and have it blow up while they're 45 minutes away clearing the scene. Um,
Mm.
Bombs are so like Anfo specifically, you need tannerite to detonate it, or you need to make a blasting cap. If you shoot it, it's not going to blow up. If you put a match in there, it's not going to blow up. Like Anfo is hard to ignite. So all these things are have to have some sort of ignition device or some sort of strong ignition device. Okay, so into the store, I grab a ton of aluminum foil and I just throw it over the top, and it's a remote detonation. I just block the signal. Like it's so easy to stop these things, and so we're just like going to give people the information on
So
how you could
it
stop it and how
it's
you could do it.
it's simple, not easy. Because if it were easy, everybody could do it. It's asymmetrical thinking.
So it's like
Yeah.
simple information that people should know that they don't know
Yeah.
because we're scared to teach them anything. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's public information, but
Yeah.
not
It's
But it's
it's just
also
a poor
but
man's
it's also
Faraday cage.
suppressed.
suppressed, and it shouldn't be. Like, are you kidding me? If I see a bomb outside, I can defuse it by just blocking it with enough metal that I block the signal. Are you kidding me? Like, it's that easy. Yeah, I mean, have you seen Faraday bags? They block electro. Like, they're.
Yep.
Have you seen how thin that is? That's. It's not that hard to block a remote signal. It's really not. If you have a flipper, which I carry a flipper, if you guys know what those are, or
Yes, I
like
do.
anything within Arduino, you can just send out a pulse signal. You can just spam the signal, and at the very least, you're disabling someone else from hitting it with a signal that's going to trigger it because you can spam like a counter signal to fight the waves. So it's, I mean, we're watching it in. We'll do a video on this on the channel, but we're watching it in like Ukraine. We're watching all these dudes get suicide bombed by drones, and you can go on. You could type it into your browser right now, look for a drone jamming backpack, and China sells them for $2,000 because they're really simple. They're really simple. And none of the squads seem to have them. And all it is it sends out a signal and jams all drones within 1,500 meters. They have drone jamming guns that you point at the drone and it returns to sender. So it'll send it back to the signal that it's coming from. And those are like $5,000. But we're watching dudes get chased down and bombed by FPV drones and chased down by FPV drones until they're tired and then it blows up on their heads. And we're seeing all this happen in combat. And I'm like, dang, this could be fixed by the cheapest like radio set and frequency outputter. And we're just watching it happen because no one has the information. It's so, yeah, we're going to get that out there too.
That is crazy though, because now we are seeing though that Ukraine's losing a ton of their drone fleet to these backpacks that you're talking about, and also like trucks filled with those jammers,
Mhm.
like from Russia. So they're losing this stuff, and now they're just trying to find where these things are located and calling artillery in on them. So I mean, you know, first world problems, I guess.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, our goal is to kind of, I don't know. Like, in combat, the goal is always to end the fighting, but it's really to just like make your users' weapons as inoperable as possible. I mean, calling in artillery fire is so much
Yeah,
harder than just launching a drone. It really is.
come
Just
on.
like it's so much
Yeah,
harder than just launching a drone. So these backpacks getting into the field was like extremely essential, and the fact that they didn't have them for a year until some person went on the internet and went, "Dang, these are $2,000. We can send these out, no problem." And
Yeah.
Ukraine doesn't have them. Interesting. Russia has the backpacks. Ukraine doesn't. So really interesting how that works. But man, we really could just order them and ship them to Ukraine with our $80 billion of aid that we're sending over there. But um, in gets people into the thought process, and that's how they bite the sandwich, and then they want to overthrow the
Then
government in
you
like 20 minutes.
radicalize
So
people.
we're
How
speed
dare
running
you?
a radicalization. So
Yeah, speed running a revolution here.
Oh,
Oh,
goodness. Well, we're about out of time, man. But do you have any last thoughts, any last words on the show?
words. Oh, on the show. Okay, yeah. Honestly, no. I
Burn your
think that
walls. Yeah.
and it is free. And I think that give people advice if they're like listening to this and they're like, man, I wish that retard, the head retard at Deskpop, would have given me like one take home homework. Your homework is to go and buy the military service manuals that you can buy. This is not a plug for a company that paid me to show for them like 2 weeks ago. So I'm not going to tell you the website that you can go to, but I did mention it. But you can buy them for $8 a piece. Improvised munitions field manuals, survival craft manuals. Every single one of those is free information for you. $8. Buy them. They're so worth it. There's so much good information inside of it. And then what you can do with that is at least have it on hand, even if you don't read it, because at some point you're going to need it, or at some point you're going to get a little too curious and you want to keep all your fingers. So they're really helpful to help you keep your fingers when you get curious. But yeah, I mean, it's good information. I think not knowing things should piss you off. So if not knowing
Yeah.
things pisses you off like it pisses me off, then you need to buy the books, learn the information, and what I don't know, you know? So I just started learning 3D modeling to build out this bomb for 3D printing. And I sent people messages trying to learn Fusion 360. And they're like, what do you need help with? And I go, I honestly, I don't know the right questions to ask. I need guidance on that. And that's kind of where I think most of you should feel like you are on munitions, unless you have a degree in explosives, which you might. You might have a degree in explosives, and this is not new to you. But, you know, that it should confuse you or scare you that you don't even know what you don't know how to ask, you know? Information is free, and learning, I think, is the best thing that we can do to be prepared. The more you know how to do, the better off you're going to be.
100%. Where can people find you?
I'm real.deskpop, and you can find us on YouTube. We are at Deskpop on YouTube. And if you do find us on YouTube, comment on the video and share it, because YouTube will not do that. So
Oh, Six, got anything else?
man, this has been fun. Can't wait to have you back on.
I blinked and we were already over time. So yeah, we need to have
Oh
you
my
on
god, I
again.
know.
That was too much fun. And I feel like we just scratched the surface on what we can. So I love it. We'll have you on again soon. But patrons, stick around for the post show. But everyone else, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. This is Joe with Deskpop, and I don't have anything that I didn't love about this conversation. This is just fun. This is everything. Like you said, this is stuff that everybody should know. Knowledge is power. And, as we've, echoed in times past, this is a responsibility. You have a responsibility just as an adult to be growing, to be learning. So never stop. Until next time, guys, we are the Hard Time Strongman podcast, cheering up a bear class of man. Stay in the fight.
Stay and fight. Check out our Discord, where we talk about all of the topics that we talk about in our conversations, but in deep dive format. We have a lot of members on there of varying skill sets, of varying proficiencies, all talking about all these topics, sharing their experiences. So join today and help us expand our knowledge base.
And check out our Patreon. Our Patreon, outside of just backing up all of our episodes for when we eventually get canceled, our patrons get access to our exclusive episodes, our pre-shows, our post-shows, our little tidbits here and there that we aren't really supposed to talk about. We're also opening up all of these exclusive episodes for people to individually purchase. So you don't have to get tied into a tier in order to get all that content. You can dip your toes in a little bit, decide you like it, then come and join us on that. We're having exclusive conversations and along with the Discord, we are just building that community, building that skill set, that mastery, these proficiencies. And this, outside of our sponsor, is what's keeping the lights on and keeping all of this information, all these classes rolling for you guys. So make sure to check out our Patreon. And one last thing, guys, the world is better with you in it. If you're feeling suicidal or if you're in crisis, dial 988 or reach out at 988lifeline.org to get help. Someone's always on the line. So if you need a lifeline, remember 988. Stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight.